So welcome to the review section, and I'm going to touch on the article a little bit more. So Disney Plus is actually 30% less expensive than Netflix's subscription. So that is one draw. And they also released a TV show called The Mandalorian, which really took off and released the iconic character being Baby Yoda. Iconic.
Iconic.
Basically, these streaming services are relying on their iconic TV shows, and because there's so many, the proliferation of these streaming services are going to be a huge challenge to Netflix's market dominance. Proliferation.
Proliferation.
So, like we mentioned before, that a lot of TV shows, movies are now moving from one place to the other due to licensing reasons. So I guess that a lot of people who are already subscribed to Netflix are basically grumbling that they're losing their favorite TV shows off one of their favorite platforms.
Grumble.
Grumble.
And to be honest, if this was me about 5 years ago, I would also be one of these grumbling customers.
Yeah, I noticed that there's a lot less Marvel TV shows as well as movies on Netflix these days.
Exactly. They've been removing their content since 2017 apparently.
Yep.
Kind of building up to the release of their streaming service. So, I mean, because a lot of these TV shows are moving, I'm curious, Walter, do you have a favorite TV show of all time?
See, as I mentioned before, I very rarely watch a TV show from start to the actual finish, but the first one that comes to mind is a very popular American cartoon TV show called The Simpsons. Though not so popular here in Korea, extremely popular in the Western culture. It's been going on just as long as I've been born, I think. Maybe 1987, 1988.
Maybe even longer, yeah.
Maybe even longer. So I remember this being the first adult-style cartoon.
Yes.
And it was, I wasn't allowed to actually watch it until I was 11 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my parents restricted me from it.
Oh, wow.
But if you compare it to some of the other cartoons these days, like South Park or Family Guy, they're, I guess, more G-rated.
Yeah, exactly.
How about you, Sam?
Oh, it's tough. Maybe for me, Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay.
So I remember when that started, I think it was 2013 or 12, maybe even 2011, I can't remember. But anyway, I caught on around 2013, and that was on Netflix. That was ABC, I believe. And that was crazy. I think it is the highest rated TV show episode-wise of all time.
Oh, wow.
Maybe.
Ah,
I might be wrong, but I remember recently seeing a graph of all of the most popular TV shows and their individual ratings. And Breaking Bad had the highest, and for good reason. It's an absolutely great show.
Yeah. So we've talked about that we're both Netflix subscribers. What was the important factor when subscribing to Netflix yourself?
Oh, well, that was 2012 for me. So.
Oh, wow, that was ages ago.
Yeah, Netflix has taken a lot of my money. To be honest, it was only Netflix or Hulu, and Netflix was simply the better option, had more content at the time. So it's quite simple for me. Netflix had
Would you think about changing maybe? Like, as we can see, Disney, Apple are coming out with originals of their own. Do you think there's a possibility that you might either subscribe to another one or quit from Netflix?
That's a good question. I will probably quit from Netflix, to be honest. I feel like they've taken enough of my money, and I've watched practically everything. What about you?
So for me, yes, I probably signed up to Netflix only for maybe 2 years ago, I think, back in 2018. Though, as we've talked about previously, there seems to be a lot of content being removed from Netflix and going to other streaming channels. So therefore, I believe that I might also quit Netflix. However, I love Netflix comedy series, comedy, stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy. Like,
anyone in particular?
Probably no one that the Korean audience has seen.
Did you watch Dave Chappelle?
Oh, Dave Chappelle is great. So a lot of comedians, stand-up comedians are on Netflix, and that's kind of like a big thing for stand-up comedy, to have Netflix specials, and you can only find them on Netflix. So I might keep my Netflix subscription.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, well that does it for the review section, and we'll see you in the next unit.